Andrew Ross Sorkin, any more preemptive capitulations?
In answer to your question, we've talked a lot for now many months about how most CEOs, the big ones, have remained silent, both out of fear of retaliation from former President Trump himself if he becomes president, and because of this view that this country has become so tribal and that an Elon Musk and others can sort of mobilize folks against a company. But one of the things that's happened literally in the past 24 hours is there have been conversations now, private conversations, in particular in New York City. The Partnership for New York, which represents the biggest companies in this city, have actually just had a conference call yesterday with the lead lawyer for Kamala Harris to talk about what could happen over the next couple of days and also what kind of steps they may take or feel like they could take or need to take if they are going to speak out about election integrity. I think they're going to focus on election integrity. The other thing that's happening, though, is all of these conversations seem to be about doing it as a group. So I don't know if you're going to see individuals. Again, this goes to sort of the fascist tendencies of what's happening in this country about the worry about speaking out as an individual as opposed to the Partnership for New York, the Chamber of Commerce, the Business Roundtable, and whether they feel like there is protection in numbers as opposed to being willing to say, you know what, whatever's going on is not right, if in fact it isn't. Right. And we'll have to see about that. I don't want to prejudge.
So obviously they're businessmen and women. They're making cynical calculations about what might be best for their companies if Donald Trump becomes president. But if Vice President Harris wins tonight in some convincing fashion, we have no evidence that that's going to happen, but let's just take that for argument's sake, do they immediately flip and say, okay, she's going to be the president? We loved her all along.
Of course.
We had to play both. We had to play both sides of this, but goodbye, Donald Trump.
Willie, I've been listening to you ask questions. I've never heard a question with such an obvious answer.
It might have been a leading question.
It's a rhetorical question.
Exactly.
100%. And in fact, I wouldn't be surprised. And in fact, Barry Diller suggested it yesterday that somebody like an Elon Musk come out publicly and say, you know what, I'm a patriot and I am going to go work now for Kamala Harris and create her efficiency, the board of efficiency plans and help cut government waste.
I can't.
Let me just tell you something. Let me just say, if that were to happen, I will just remind everybody about what the mantra is on Morning Joe, at least Meacham and me.
I know.
We, like Baptists, are in the conversion business. And when somebody walks down to the aisle on the 14th verse of Just As I Am, you shake their hand and you say, welcome, brother, welcome, sister, welcome into the family of faith.
Well, he'll be jumping around back here with his T-shirt up. No,
I'm just talking any of them.
There's a competing way to think about this, which is we'll remember what the cowards were. We have the receipts, which I think.
Well, how about this? How about Abraham Lincoln, after 700,000 people had been killed in the Civil War? What did he say at his second inaugural? With malice toward none. I think if they could do it then, whatever side ends up winning tonight can do it tomorrow or next week. It's going to be hard, though, isn't it, Donnie, for you? I can tell. You're gritting your teeth.
It's hard for, it's just as a business guy. I want to talk about brands for a second, and what's on the ballot is the brand of the USA and what we stand for. Originally we had a mission statement. It was the Constitution that laid out our values. And our brand stands for, it was the first American brand, was USA, stands for hope and freedom and honesty and decency and togetherness and inclusiveness and kindness. That's on the ballot. Getting rebranded. That is literally, so yes, we are voting for two candidates. We are voting for what this country stands for going forward. And that's
and yet, Andrew, you talk to people every day, including somebody on your set who feels just the opposite, that actually, if Democrats win, it's the end of America as we know it.
Look, I have now talked and interviewed enough business folks and other folks who are on the other side of the aisle on this issue who genuinely believe, for whatever reason, that this country would be better off with former President Trump in office, and that the U.S. and the brand of this country will be, quote unquote, stronger. I think there's a lot of people at this table that don't agree with that. I'm not sure I agree.
Freedom, you can't be stronger. It's that simple.
But we've been living through this, and that's just how divided this entire country feels. And given how razor razor hair we are here on the fence.
Razor hair?
Razor hair is the wrong phrase.
Razor's edge?
Razor's edge. Thank you, sir.
I want to
Razor's
just say
edge.
one more thing. Just to change topics for a second, I want to congratulate Mika because Mika, you have so stood up for women, and this election is going to come down to women. I've said it all along. Many people have said it. You've been so passionate, such an advocate. Women are going to show their superiority in this election. They will protect us. I think that's going to be the big story.
I don't think it's me. I think it's women. I think women. I think could make it happen.
And Donnie, I want to congratulate you. Years ago, you would wear nothing but Baby Gap T-shirts. You are now wearing ties.
Wow,
that looks like a half Windsor. You've got the knot pretty much squared up straight.
You know
Very
what?
proud of you.
You invited me into the adult dining room and dressing accordingly.
And you know what? In solidarity, Donnie is wearing a women's boot, and I think that's very
wow.
I think that's very, very powerful.
It is true. It is true. I had not noticed that. And I don't think you can see the shoes from here, but
those boots that were made for walking. And that's just what they're going to do.
It's better than when he wears those pumps that he sometimes wears. Listen, here's my question. Here's my question for you.
Yes, sir.
Wait, they're looking at the showing the boats.
We've been talking about the various scenarios, like, if Trump wins, if Harris wins in the business community. Right. Here's a likelier scenario that we have weeks of protracted litigation, contestation. If Harris wins narrowly, the Trump people are going to try to 100% fight it out in the courts, try to steal the election back from her. What you had in 2020 in the face of the Stop the Steal movement was a united, I would call it a business elite, which was for stability. And so they lined up on the sides of the courts and of Joe Biden. Is there that kind of unanimity in the business community now if Trump tries to do the same thing?
I deeply fear that it does not exist in the same way today. And I deeply fear it in part, by the way, because of the court system. If this goes to the Supreme Court, there is a view that there's a view that these CEOs, we keep getting it, I don't want to be too cynical about it, but they don't, it's not about being on the wrong side of history. They don't want to be on the wrong side of who's going to ultimately be in charge. And
or of the corporate elite.
Correct. And so I do fear.
No, they're not afraid of being on the wrong side of Harris. They're afraid of being on the wrong
side of Trump. No, but I think.
And of the corporate elite.
But I think the fear is that if, in fact, the courts were to ultimately rule that Trump becomes the president, that they would then get retribution for standing up in a way that they didn't 4 years ago. And that, I think, is something to worry about.
Well, and again, that's out of the autocratic playbook.
Straight up.
100%.
Where you threaten people. You threaten Liz Cheney with death. You threaten, your Democratic opponents with arrest from the Army, military tribunals. You threaten to suspend the Constitution. You threaten to be a dictator on day one. You threaten news networks that you're going to shut them down.
You follow through on your threats during your first administration.
And they do know that, people can stupidly say, oh, but at least he did nothing his first administration. But Andrew, these CEOs are smart enough to know that not only did we have January the 6th, but also he tried to get his first attorney general and his second attorney general to arrest Hillary Clinton. They refused. He tried to get Joe Biden arrested 2 weeks before the election. His attorney general refused. They know that.
And by the way, they went after, he went after businesses in the first administration, Harley Davidson, Coca-Cola. There's a long list of companies where he woke up one morning and took to Twitter and created demonstrable problems for those companies. And that's one of the reasons I think these CEOs are more reticent, unfortunately, than they had been in the past.
CNBC's Andrew Ross Sorkin, Donnie Deutsch, thank you both very much. Really appreciate it.